your version of reality is correct. That's true for each of us because we are born individuals, we're born equal, we're born with a path we're meant to follow, and we come into the world at a particular time where if we follow that path, if we become who we're meant to be, then we make the world better. And I'm going to give you my version of reality because, as you might have noticed, we're all having different ideas about what might be occurring in the world and why are we going through all of this trouble, and in my country, why are we having all of this division and hatred and fight? And I knew the answers to all of that, but it was so strange to me that I couldn't talk about it because I had to develop and own my version of reality. And so that's what I'm going to give you. Many of you know that I started receiving information intuitively, channeling writing messages in 1988. And I kept it to myself. But I used it to create everything. I used it to move through my life and transform my life. But it was still uncomfortable for me to talk about it to others because they're not going to believe this. They're not going to understand how I did this. And then I've talked often about all the physical ailments and diseases and illnesses that I've had that I've moved through. Well, yeah, I did that because of the same reason, because I was using information that I received that I just downloaded, that I just channeled. That's why I talked about I downloaded a philosophy. I didn't know that it happened. And to give you a little bit more of the story, I knew a couple years ago that the world was changing, and I started talking about receiving the information about the restructuring, and I started receiving information about the United States would lead the way. Had no clue as to what that meant, and now we're seeing it happen because we have to look at who we are, what we've done, how we've lived our lives, and how we've respected and loved the planet. And a lot of us haven't done that because we haven't done that for ourselves. And that's why we have to honor and own and live our version of reality, because it's going to be different. We're not going to be the same as anyone else. We can even know in my country, we're still having, 2 years ago, we had an election that half the people can't agree on who won, even though we're looking at facts of that. But to say, no, that didn't happen. This is where we're going to have to understand and believe in our reality. And that is the work that I do. That was why I was given the work, because if everyone started to know their rightful place in the world, what they're here to do, because everybody has something, every single person, there's not a single soul born ever who doesn't have something to offer. But we have to become willing to accept that, own it, and give it to others. That's how evolution works. Let me just go back and tell you, I talked about this, and I don't think many of you understood what I was saying. In 2021, I heard very clearly that I was given everything I needed to know in 2012. I had no information about what 2012 was. I had no understanding of the history of that in terms of the Mayan calendar and changes in civilization and all of that. I had no idea because I didn't study any of it. However, for some reason, I seem to have downloaded all of these messages that during that time that were to help us move through this part of the world, this change in our planet. And then I started finding proof of that, even astrological proof, meaning this is the reason the United States would lead the way, because they're going through a Pluto return, which is an astrological thing. We're all connected energetically. It means the stars, everything, all the planet. We're all connected energetically because we're only energy. That's the only thing that exists. And when that goes off, when it gets a little off balance, we get off balance and the world gets off balance, and that's what's happened. So what I was told is that we were going to go through this change because we needed to do things in a new way. We needed to start to look at people differently, and each of us are going to play a role. And that role would be if we decided to love who we were, if we decided to work through our restrictions, because we all come in with them. We're born with them. And this is generational, meaning that we're moving through things that our parents could not do before, our ancestors or whatever it was, but we're trying to make something better. But this is why we're having all the fighting, because some people want to hold on to what was and some want to go to something new. I'm going to something new. That's what we're meant to do, and that's the energy of love. That's the energy of letting go of our judgment about ourselves and about others. I wrote something in 2016 I've talked about often, and that was when I had to acknowledge that I came in with racist ideas, because we all do. We all have them, and I had misogynistic tendencies, as I said, but that was something that was learned. We are programmed. We've done it throughout civilization. Anyway, this morning, so I'm having a meeting with three people in the group. We have our weekly meeting. We have several weekly meetings, and these have been the most thrilling things ever, because I'm seeing the results of this work actually in action, and people coming to understand, wait a minute, I haven't valued myself enough. I have more. Look at what I've done in my life. Why am I not being paid for that? Because this is also a shift in our wealth and income inequality all over the world, not just in one country, it's everywhere. And that's this shift that you're seeing, why you're seeing financial markets go crazy and a lot of fear. We're talking about a recession. All of those things are causing us to change each individual person. And that change means that we need to work through our restrictions and limitations so that we become better, so that we offer an element, energy of love and light into the world. And I'm no different. So I had to tell you the story about how this happened, because it was like I had to accept it. You will have to accept something about yourself, because it's going to be something you have not known. We're seeing things in the world we have not known or experienced, and we're going to see that in my country, in the United States. There's going to be things that are happening with our government that none of us have experienced, and we're going to get up on our high horses about it, and everybody's going to want to be right. But when you understand who you are, you're not going to be in the fight, because you'll be happy. You'll get rid of your anger. You'll get rid of your fear. You'll drop it. All of that. That's what happens with my work. So as we were talking this morning, people would say something, and I would have a thought, oh, I think that was given to us. I think that's in the work that I had. And this is just one of them. But I wanted to show you just the quality of the work that is in there. And these are things that I received. I didn't do the work on them when I received them. I would every morning sit down, meditate, receive the information, and publish it. But I would have to go back and look at it for it to really take hold, for me to assimilate. It's the same with everyone. But I'm just going to read this one. I'm going to give you my interpretation, because this is basically what everything is in my program as well. And this was on trust. This was on December 1st of 2012. The word trust is actually a powerful energy, but when used by you, effectively can create miraculous results in your physical life experience. When you use the word trust, you are affirming to the universe that you know whatever shows up in your experience is for your highest good. It is not possible for you to hold the idea of the word trust simultaneously with the idea of the words such as worry, anxiety, and fear. Using the word trust consciously in your words, deeds, and actions sets forth an energy that will help you manifest, create, and become the person you desire, as well as make the contribution you intended. You can never do anything wrong. When you trust, you always receive the right results. And what that was, and the entire work is about changing our perceptions. We only live in our consciousness. It's mindfulness. It's whatever those terms are. I was downloading this information, and I can look at it now, and every single one of them is something that can cause us to feel differently about ourselves in the world and evolve and expand, and that's what's going on. We are changing the world, and we just happen to be alive during this period. But I just wanted to talk about it because we're going to have a little bit more of this. We have, in the United States, we have a big election, which everybody's getting ready for in November. It's going to be this thing because we're deciding the direction of the country. But we're doing more than that. We're deciding the direction of the world. That is what's going on. And we're going to decide that are we going to love ourselves and get rid of all of our restrictions and doubts and all of that? Because then when we do that, we start to look at other people differently and we start healing. And that healing takes over the entire world, the planet. And so what I know is that I was given something that would help people become their authentic selves. They become more powerful, prosperous, happy, in love with themselves, and that puts an entirely new energy into the world. And that's why I was given this. And it makes sense because I went through so much crap in my life that you would understand that I would have gained something from that. I would have found some wisdom, some knowledge from all of that, and I did. Now I just got to put it together. That's what I'm doing, and that's what this period is for me. And you are meant to find what it is that you are in the world to do that's going to cause you to own who you are, love yourself, be happy, and prosperous at the same time. All of that is what we are up to now. Please love your reality.